Hello and welcome to Destination Orange County. I'm Crystal Candy. This is a show where we highlight the latest news from one of the most dynamic destinations in the world. Today we are bringing you the latest news from the International Drive Chamber of Commerce at their member event recently held at the Rosen Center. You'll hear from the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority president about air travel and the rebound of visitors to Orlando. In fact, the Orlando International Airport has set new records in recent weeks for the amount of traffic coming through. Certainly a great sign for our local economy. Also, Pointe Orlando has gone through a huge renovation. We're going to get the latest from this vibrant restaurant and shopping destination right in the heart of International Drive. But before we start and share all the news from this latest event, it's time to recognize those who are making a difference in the iDrive community. Each month, the Chamber is proud to honor an iDrive member for excellence in service. This month, we shine the spotlight on the Senior Sales Manager at Andretti's Indoor Karting and Games. This is Erica Zerer, and she is our Ambassador of the Month. Erica always strives to ensure the success of Andretti's. She works extremely well under pressure and always remains poised and focused. Currently ranked #1 in the company for sales, managers say Erica sets a phenomenal example to her colleagues. The Chamber is delighted to honor Erica Zerer as the International Drive Resort Area Chamber of Commerce Ambassador of the Month. And this month's Orange County Deputy of the Month is Master Deputy Gareth Bender. On a recent burglary investigation, Master Deputy Bender observed and initiated contact with a male subject in the area who matched the suspect's description. Upon further investigation, it was discovered the suspect was also wanted for a crime against a young visiting female. Master Deputy Bender's initiative and attention to detail resulted in the arrest of a suspect who likely would have continued to victimize tourists in the iDrive corridor. His proactive approach to combating crime in the International Drive Resort area is greatly appreciated. The Chamber is honored to award Master Deputy Gareth Bender the Deputy of the Month Award. Now we turn to the Orlando Police Department. This month, the Chamber is proud to honor Officer Kyle Prochet with the Chamber's OPD Officer of the Quarter Award. In March, Officer Prochet was investigating a stolen vehicle. The vehicle was spotted parked at a residence. Units conducted surveillance, and after a brief foot chase, Orlando police officers captured the suspect. Officer Prochet led the investigation and spoke with the suspect's mother, who retrieved several stolen items from a provided list at the home. A short time later, homicide detectives notified Officer Prochet that they were building a case on the suspect for a murder that occurred in February. The investigation was a team effort led by Officer Prochet, and that investigation resulted in charging the suspect with numerous unresolved crimes that include burglary, grand theft auto, and homicide. The iDrive Chamber is proud to award Officer Kyle Prochet the OPD Officer of the Quarter Award for his dedication and persistence. All right, wow. We take you now to this latest event held at the Rosen Center for all of the news from the International Drive Chamber and its partners.
Good afternoon, everyone. If everybody could have their seats, we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, it's great to see everyone here today. Welcome to the International Drive Resort Area Chamber of Commerce June 17th, 21 General Meeting Luncheon. I want to thank Phil Caronia and the great team here at the Rosen Center for hosting us today. Thank you so much. I am sure today's luncheon will be a very interesting and informative event with a special Orlando International Airport update from Phil Brown, CEO of OIA, and a special Pointe Orlando update from Brian Small, General Manager of Pointe Orlando. But before we get started with lunch, we do have some announcements to make and some awards to give out. I want to welcome a special guest who has joined us today. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Mayra Uribe. It's always great to see you. Thank you for joining us. The Chamber has been very busy meeting with our commissioners and elected officials on important issues facing our community. Mass transportation from the Orlando International Airport to iDrive is a political agenda item for the Chamber, and the Chamber is in conversations with government officials and Brightline regarding a station at the Orange County Convention Center to service the iDrive corridor. The Chamber has also been working with and strongly supports Visit Orlando's The Wonder Remains campaign. We are delighted with the tourist development tax dollars progressively getting better every month, and we're definitely on the road to recovery. As a leader in the tourism industry, the iDrive Chamber is proud to have been the first to begin hosting monthly luncheons, and we're delighted with the strong attendance and positive feedback that we have received. Mark your calendar today for the second Thursday of the month and plan to attend all our monthly general meeting luncheons, a great place to network and learn more about the exciting developments taking place in the iDrive community and in the tourism industry as we all move forward together. Next month's luncheon will be held July 8th at the Wyndham Orlando and will be a special attractions update with Fun Spot and Ripley's Believe It or Not. Our August 12th luncheon will be our annual Universal Orlando luncheon at Rose and Shingle Creek. And our September 2nd luncheon will be our annual Disney update at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club. Mark your calendar today and look for more information on all the upcoming events, or visit your iDrive Chamber website at internationaldrivechamber.com. We are also so proud of our partnership with Orange TV, who you see in the back of the room, who is taping our monthly luncheons and packaging them in a monthly iDrive Chamber segment that showcases the iDrive Chamber, our members, and all that iDrive has to offer. View our luncheons on Orange TV or on your iDrive Chamber website. Many thanks to Mike Seif, Crystal Candy, and the great team at Orange TV for a wonderful partnership. Also, a reminder, the Chamber will be hosting a Homeland Security virtual seminar June 22nd, 11 o'clock. For more information, please go to our website. I'm also proud to say that the Chamber's luncheons, special events, and programs have all been very successful this year, and our highly acclaimed Tourism Orlando Leadership Program is now celebrating its 20th anniversary. We encourage everyone who has not graduated from Tourism Orlando to sign up this year. This incredible 10-month program enables our participants to learn about the vast components and aspects of the tourism industry, from marketing to operations to behind-the-scenes tours and special presentations. Section 20 kicked off in December, and last Friday the class enjoyed Healthcare Day with special tours and presentations by Orlando Health. I'm delighted to report that Tourism Orlando is a staple in our tourism industry, with over 1,000 people graduating to date, earning their PhD in tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Greg Rice, General Manager of the Embassy Suites and our 2021 Chairman of the Board.
Raise that up a little bit. Thank you, Maria. As we move forward together, the iDrive Chamber continues to play a key role in the development, direction, and success of our resort destination. As we celebrate our 33rd anniversary, we can all be very proud of the tremendous impact we have made on our community through government affairs, public relations, networking events, educational programs, seminars, employee recognition programs, and special events. This year, the Chamber is once again proud to support Addie Muller's Operation Shared Shoes campaign for the homeless. This incredible campaign has provided thousands of shoes for the underprivileged. We encourage everyone to bring your new or used shoes to our monthly luncheons and donate them to this worthy cause. Here to tell us more about her campaign is Addie Muller, Chris Muller's 14-year-old, soon-to-be 15-year-old daughter, President and CEO of Operation Shared Shoes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Maria, for always inviting me to share information about my foundation with everyone here at the Chamber of Commerce Luncheon. For those who don't know me, my name is Adeline Muller, and I am the founder of Operation Shared Shoes. Operation Shared Shoes gives lightly used and new shoes to those in our community who are in need. Through all of your donations, I've been able to distribute shoes at the Belle Isles Community Outreach Event, a SALT event, downtown, Matthews Hope Organization, and the District 3 Food Distribution Event as well as providing 2 young students from Tangelo Park Elementary with new pairs of sneakers for Christmas. Our events have been limited this past year, but the rest of the year looks to be promising. Because of this Chamber of Commerce, I've been able to meet with the Lake Buena Vista Rotary in the past, and currently with the Dr. Phillips Rotary. After meeting with a member of the Dr. Phillips Rotary, we have created a plan to pass on shoes on a quarterly basis at the Salvation Army Center in downtown Orlando that supports men's shelters and women and children's shelters in the area. We have targeted our first event to be in the beginning of August and make it a back-to-school event, providing as many kids of all ages with a new pair of shoes to start school. We all know how important first impressions on the first day of school is, and it's my goal to make sure that everyone has the best first day experience that they can. With that being said, I will be asking everyone to focus on the request for sneakers of all sizes. Having this opportunity to really impact the community that we live in is what matters the most. I've also recently been in contact with Dress for Success, and I am in the beginning stages of setting up a quarterly donation for dress shoes to help them meet the needs of people they are helping on a regular basis. It is very much because of this iDrive Chamber of Commerce and your generosity that I have been able to pass out thousands of pairs of shoes to our community of people in need. Thank you really doesn't seem to be enough, but I do thank you and appreciate all your support that you do give me in Operation Shared Shoes.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage Brian Small, General Manager of Pointe Orlando.
Good afternoon. I'm going to thank you now for the few minutes that you're giving me here. Maria, thank you. Addie, amazing job. By the way, that table chaired because I told them my favorite movie was Forrest Gump. So I'm just going to run through some slides quickly just to give you a quick update. I'll take a step back for a second and say, I'm so fired up that things are coming back. My phone's ringing. I know your phones are ringing as well. We're talking about events into 22. I have to control myself when I get one of those calls. So pretty excited about that. And I've discovered from COVID that one of the things I missed the most was actually walking into a restaurant and saying I'll squeeze in at the bar. Because so the restaurants are coming back fast, and yep, that's where you'll find me. And I'm blaming COVID for that. So this first slide, just a before and after, shows where the Tommy Bahama location was. We've replaced that tenant with the Hampton Social. They've done an amazing job. If you haven't visited them yet, I suggest you add it to your schedule. The feedback has been amazing. This is a group out of Chicago, and we're really excited about them. And they've got an amazing brunch. So the weekends, I will say, make a reservation. I did show up and I didn't have a reservation, so yeah, I had to go somewhere else. So anyway, next slide. Just some more photos of Hampton Social. I love the rosé all day. That's I would say really it's a good way to describe Hampton Social. There's a lot of wine flowing in there, just a great vibe. This is before and after the location where Copper Canyon was located, where we replaced them with Rodizio, Brazilian concept. Some of you were in the meeting, right? I remember in March of last year, just before things shut down, they were just opening. So they're just hitting their stride again, and we're looking forward to good things with them. Here's before and after, where anyone that remembers the old pavers knows that it was definitely not something easy to walk on, especially for ladies with heels and so on. That was a pretty common complaint. So we took those up, redid the landscaping, reworked the palms, just get a better flow. We went with a really creative design on the concrete, a lot of glass, different types of river rock and stone and so on, and we're really, it's beautiful. I know I'm biased, but it turned out well. We worked on both valets, and there's a slide here for both. This is the Valet 1, the Capitol Grille. Well, we refer, you turn in right after Capitol Grille, and we refer to it as the Capitol Grille Valet, but really it's just Valet 1. Capitol Grille on one end, Hampton Social on the other. And again, removed the pavers, took out the asphalt, redid the landscaping. Here you can see where I'm a big fan of oak trees, but probably not the best location for those oaks. We added medjool palms just to get the canopies up a little higher to just open it up. And there's a later slide in here where you could see where what the whole Valet Plaza and the idea behind that. But again, the feedback has been positive, and I think money well spent. This is the second, that's Valet 2, Blue Martini area, and again, same approach, just open it up. And of course, that valet structure, we needed a real valet structure. What I saw before was a canopy that really added some coverage for the attendant and not our patrons. This was a big addition with this redevelopment, where if you were at the center of the property and you wanted to get to the east concourse, you had to walk the full circle. Pick a direction and walk the entire area. So we're referring to this area as the link. We didn't want it to be feel like just a regular hallway, so we made it. It's pretty wide. We added a lot of lighting in there, programmable lighting. Still in the works, probably a couple of months before that's done. But again, I think, one, it was the right move. Two, I think it's really going to improve the traffic flow. As part of that, we ended up adding an escalator next to the link on the Blue Martini side. This is the east entrance to the link. Again, night and day with the concrete patterns and so on. All the pavers were removed. I understand the contractor that pulled those pavers is out of the Ocala area, and someone made a joke that there's streets full of pavers now over there in Ocala, so I don't know. So anyway, now on the Capitol Grille corner, this is our icon feature that's going to be there. We added, again, it's a landing area for 2 crosswalks. We added this structure with seating, just again, more of a comfort area as well, just an area to gather. And I think, again, once that icon feature goes in, that's in fabrication now. It'll be a nice focal point on both ends of the property. And there's another slide that touches on the end. This is on the Maggiano's end. Again, you get a feel for where that icon feature will go. This is what the goal was with removing the pond. If those that remember, I thought the pond was beautiful, but it was just not. It was not the right place for that feature. We've taken it all out. We've added some turf areas. Again, the patterns of the concrete, and this plaza area now gives us the room to do larger events. One of the things that again, you probably noticed already, but again, we do a lot of single venue as well as multi-venue events, and it turns into block parties. The pond in this area was always a challenge to work around it. So this opens it up. So we're looking forward to doing some events there. And actually, we're getting, we're already, as I said, the phones are ringing again. We're getting into 2022. So I'm looking forward to doing some exciting events here. This is a project, we're just getting around to get this started. All the different behind-the-scenes work, different surveys and things like that have been completed, and now this is going to start. This is the second floor, and again, those that are familiar with the property, you know that we went, about 2 years ago, we took on a project. We didn't get the desired effect, so we're taking that back up, and we're going to do a design that matches what's on the first floor. This is going to be beautiful, and again, we do a lot of block parties on the second floor, so Again, I think it was the right move. A huge change is the wayfinding signage. We're taking a step up from where we had the static signage before. Now you've got interactive directories and some lit structures at different points to act as wayfinding as well. So these are all of these things will be done by the end of the year. These are in fabrication right now. And that's it. Thank you. And I will not leave up here without saying, where is Addie? You did an amazing job. Thank you.
Awesome job. Thanks a lot, Brian. Really appreciate it. And now for a special Orlando International Airport presentation, please join me in welcoming Phil Brown, CEO of the Orlando International Airport.
Thanks, Greg. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Y'all are in tourism? Could have fooled me. This is the happiest place in the world. Good afternoon. All right, thank you. That's much better. And congratulations to you, Chris. This is probably one of the best Father's Day presents you'll get with having Addie up here. So congratulations. And of course, congratulations to Addie, as well as all the award winners today. It's a pleasure to see all of you and be here in person. I don't know, this is probably my second or third event where I've seen people face to face, but doesn't it feel pretty good to be back and talking to people? But I think we all need to recognize that this didn't occur without a lot of hard work, so I'd like to recognize Commissioner Uribe and her team of commissioners at the Orange County Board of County Commissioners. Also, one of my board members, our treasurer, Mayor Jerry Demings. I had the distinct honor to be on his executive policy group calls, which there were. The Emergency Operations Center for Orange County was up for 449 days. And a lot of those days, every day, there was a call that was headed by Mayor Dyer and his team, and we got a lot of information. And what a lot of people may not realize is the management of that process by that Orange County team every day, watching what was going on with terms of infections, testing. We had Dr. Raul Pino, who is now a rock star from the Department of Health. So that is in large part responsible for what we are able to enjoy here today, which is to be seeing each other, talking to each other face to face. So I don't think that's, I couldn't let that go by without at least mentioning that, because that is in large part what's driving the traffic at the airport from my perspective. Because people know that Orange County, Central Florida, is a healthy, safe place to come. And that speaks volumes. So I'll talk a little bit about, get through the credits, who we are at the airport. We are a community gateway. We are, for many people traveling to Central Florida, the first and the last impression that they will have. We're an economic resource. Pre-COVID, Florida Department of Transportation did a study, and their conclusion was that Orlando International Airport contributed about $41 billion, that's billion with the B, in economic impact to the Central Florida area. A large part of that was the direct spend on travelers coming here, more so than Miami Airport. And there are a lot of people that travel to Miami, but we have been for a number of years now the busiest airport in Florida. We're a global connector. Not as connected as we once were, but that's going to come back. There are going to be some challenges, I think, particularly with the United Kingdom. I was talking to Khalid Munir earlier, and he has family in London, and There are concerns about them going back into a lockdown because the extent to which the variant D has reared its ugly head in Great Britain. By the way, it's reared its head here too. So for all of you that are inclined, I would recommend vaccinations because that's another area that has helped us control this virus. And then we've always aspired and worked toward being a world-class airport. We've tried to establish a sense of place, harmony with the environment. We like to say we bring the outside in. That was the design motif for us when we designed the North Terminal, and it's going to be the same for the South Terminal, except it's going to be on steroids. Because we're using a lot of technology to achieve that. We have a lot of land. There are people that had the vision 25 and 30 years ago to acquire land, because when we got the airport from the Air Force in the mid-70s, it wasn't as large as it is now. We acquired land, started back in the 1980s, acquired some of the property owned by Harcourt Brace Jovanovich. And so at the peak, we had about 13,000 plus acres. We sold some of that was not contiguous to the airport. We still have about 12,000 plus for development. So that is an advantage to us compared to any other airport in Florida. And by the way, Florida is unique in the respect that it has 4 large hub airports. There's no other state in the country that has that. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Orlando. So you think about any other state, you're not going to see that. What's more unique is they're all on about 250 miles of each other. So there's a lot of concentration of flights. We, every day we get a report from TSA, and we started getting that in COVID, and they measure how many departing passengers there are at the top 100 airports. For the months of December, January, February, March, by that measure, we were the busiest airport in the country. But that added to Miami and Fort Lauderdale combined, we accounted for about 11% of the traffic that was flying at that point in time in Florida. So that says a lot about Florida and the destination of Florida. But again, Central Florida was #1. And although we are not #1 much anymore, I'm not really unhappy about that, because that means other airports have people flying out. At one point, Los Angeles had about 20% of the traffic that they had pre-COVID. Our worst point was mid-April of 2020. We had less than 2,000 departing passengers, so we were down 99%. But I'm happy to say we're coming back. So we are in the top 5 still, even in midweek, which is typically Tuesday and Wednesday the slowest. We're over 50,000 departing passengers. And arriving passengers is about the same. So we have, give or take, 100,000 people a day coming through our living room at Orlando International Airport. And technology, as you see up on the screen, is a key, because more and more people are going to want to rely on technology to control their journey when they go to the airport and fly. And that we've focused on that quite a bit. And it's actually been accelerated because of the pandemic. Because obviously people were very concerned about high contact, coming in contact with people. So we see a lot of that accelerating, and we're working on systems at the South Terminal to implement that. And there are some systems in the North that we will as well. The fundamental factor, though, is that we always have to be safe and secure. So going back to my earlier references to the county and the efforts they had on keeping us safe, we have to do that at the airport as well. So even though our budgets were down, we had a reduction in revenue of about $200 million out of a $500 million budget. We still spent money on security and cleaning and safety, because without those, you don't have a world-class destination. But we're also looking at it not only from an environmentally sustainable view, because our south terminal will be one of the first airports that will be LEED, which is a designation for environmental buildings, approved airport. But from an economic standpoint, because we always have to look at the long haul. We don't get local tax dollars. We operate off of revenues that we generate, much like most of you do. So we have to be cognizant of, number one, being able to have demand and generate demand, but also provide a value proposition for everybody that uses the airport. So who are we? 2019, we had over 50 million passengers. We're not likely to see that this year, but we are making some strides toward that. I already mentioned the economic impact of $41 billion. World's largest rental car market. Now, rental cars have had some challenges here lately. They sold their fleets. They're still doing pretty well financially, but they're having a devil of a time trying to keep up with demand. And like everybody here and everybody in Central Florida, there's a challenge in hiring people. We see it every day in our operation, and we see it with our concessionaires and the rental cars. So there's going to be some wage push. There's going to have to be to compete. But there are going to be other factors that we're going to have to look at, that people that come back to work are going to have the ability, number one, to get to work, because a lot of the service industry folks may not have cars, so transit's going to be important. It's important to get people to work at the airport. And other benefits such as childcare. That's been a challenge. And so we're trying to scratch our heads and figure out if there's a way that we can assist the stakeholders at the airport with childcare. And that's, I'm a 70-year-old man, so I thought I'd never have to deal with childcare. But it is a fact of life. If you're going to open up the universe of employable people, you're going to have to deal with transit and childcare. So as a concentration of employment at the airport, we're starting to look at how we can accommodate that. We can't do it by ourselves, but there are plenty of interest, both private and public, that we think that we can leverage to at least come up with a viable solution to address that. I've already mentioned the landmass. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We have 129 food and beverage and retail locations. Every day, more are opening up, but again, they're having challenges hiring people. And we also have them review their plans, their operation plans, particularly with respect to COVID, and making sure that the facilities are clean and safe. So how do we manage? Our board of directors, and we have 7 positions. We only have 6 filled now. We are down 1 position. The Osceola County by statute has an appointee. We do not have a representative from Osceola County at this point. And hopefully within the next few months, Governor DeSantis will make that appointment. Our board is made up of 7 positions. 2 of them are ex officio, the mayor of Orlando, the mayor of Orange County, and then 5 gubernatorial appointees. So we've gotten some recent appointees. Craig Mateer, many of you know Craig because he had an operation here on I-Drive for a number of years, which he sold to SP+. Tim Weishire is a longtime resident of Osceola County, but he now lives in Lake Nona. He has Dream Builders, which is a realty company that he started up. And then Carson Good, who is our board chairman, was a managing partner at JLL, Jones Lang LaSalle. He's now got his own business. And then Dr. John L. Evans, who is with Janus Capital, but his forte is talent development. So those members are part of our board now. They will be the ones that will be going through the process of finding a replacement for me. And I wish them a lot of luck, and I wish they'd hurry up. I'm being a little bit facetious, but I think it's, people have asked me, what are you going to do? I just had that question, what are you going to do to retire? And I says, whatever the hell my wife wants me to do. And I say that again a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's been a long while. I've been here for almost 11 years now, and it's time for change, right? You can't continue to do the superb job that this community demands, so it's time for a change. So my hope is that we have a very measured, orderly transition. And whoever it is, I think I've got confidence that this board, including the mayors, will make a good selection. This was what we ended up doing in March of 2020. Many of you remember March 18th. That was the announcement that Disney was shutting down. The following week, we had folks in our department standing there, and we started doing the cuts because we knew that we were going to have to do that to survive. So we went through some major reductions. As I said, from the revenue standpoint, we ended up reducing about $200 million in revenue. So we cinched up our belts. We sent people to work remotely, but some of them couldn't. I mean, firefighters have to be there. Operations folks have to be there. Maintenance people have to be there. So we had a lot of people that worked hard during the pandemic, and they found things to do. We put programs together, painted, dressed up the facility. I mean, the firefighters and the first responders were busy all the time. OPD was busy all the time. They're not our employees, but they are our contractors, but they've been providing law enforcement services to us for more than 30 years. So we continued, and people have asked me, well, what did you learn through the pandemic? And I said, I learned that you have to get up every morning and you have to put one foot in front of the other and try to move forward. And that's really, it's back to fundamentals. Ms. Fennell, our Senior Director of Public Affairs, knows because I always talk about blocking and tackling because it's back to fundamentals. And that's how we've weathered the storm this far, because there's not going to be a home run, and the only way that you make progress is trying to make progress every day. And thank goodness we had staff that was dedicated and a team that was dedicated, and we've been able to work not only with our folks at the Aviation Authority, but with the stockholders as well, stakeholders, airlines, concessionaires, rental cars, TSA, Customs and Border Protection. They've all had to weather this storm and work together. And I'm proud to say that we've done a pretty good job about working together. Have to do this with fiscal responsibility. So we're still one of the highest rated airports in the country, GOAA, with one exception. Standard & Poor's downgraded us along with 94 other airports in the country. But we're working our way back for that. And part of that was we were able to manage through austere measures to manage the budget. So we continue to look at that because, again, we're a business. We have to operate on what revenues we can generate. And so you have to have a long-term view and a sustainable view in terms of the revenue and the efforts that you have to make to generate demand and meet that demand. So we are the busiest airport in Florida as measured by total passengers, not only total passengers, but departing passengers. We are always focused on airline route destination scheduling because we have more domestic nonstop destinations than any other airport in the state. And we've had that, and we're coming back. You'll see the numbers in a minute. In fact, next week, there are a group of airline planners along with about 300 other people that are coming to Central Florida for what's called Routes America, which is where the airlines meet with prospective partners to develop routes and add routes. So my Senior Director of Marketing likes to call it speed dating with airlines because we meet, we talk about routes, we show them the advantages and disadvantages. Other airports will come as well, but it's a good opportunity to showcase to the folks in network planning that make a lot of the decisions. They crunch the numbers and they will tell a CEO or a CFO, here's the most profitable route for us to pursue. So we are always involved in those discussions, even when we weren't traveling. Our marketing department was on the phone every week, every day, talking to airlines to make sure that Orlando International is in the front of their mind. And it pays off. So we have an opportunity. So those 400 people will be down at Reunion at one of your collateral hotels with Mr. Rice. We're going to have some of them up here because, as it turns out, the group that puts this on underestimated the attendance. They estimated about 275. We're going to have 400. So we've had to go out and put some feelers out for other rooms. And they're going to be looking at Central Florida in general. So we team a lot with not only Visit Orlando, but Experience Kissimmee, because we have a regional impact, and we want the whole region to rise. And so that's the way we sort of approach this. So we, just to give you the numbers, pre-COVID, 91 U.S. destinations, now 89, down a little bit. International destinations, that's where we're having the challenges, particularly with transatlantic. We are doing pretty well in the Latin American venues. We had a inaugural flight with a new airline, Viva Air, a week ago today. They inaugurated an international flight nonstop to Medellin, Colombia. And you'll be surprised, there's a lot of interest in Colombia, nonstop. We have 3 airlines that are serving Colombia: JetBlue, Avianca, 4. JetBlue, Avianca, Spirit, and now Viva Aerobus, that serve a combination of Bogota, Medellin, and Cali. And there's more to come. The big challenge that we see from the Latin American is Brazil. Without being derogatory, right now Brazil's a hot mess. And it's a challenge. They have to be able to bring the virus under control in order for not only their citizens, but for people to travel. There's plenty of demand. We think that once it opens up, it's going to come with a rush. So all of you will see some evidence of that. So you need to be prepared, because we're thinking about how that all works, how we're going to manage it, how we're going to staff to accommodate that. So there's a lot of planning that we're going through right now to get prepared for that eventuality, because if you remember in the heyday, we used to have a lot of Brazilian passengers that would come with 2 suitcases, buy 2 more, and fill them all up and take them back. And so you would be at the Mall of Millennia, or you'd be down at the Florida Mall, and you would have a lot of people speaking Portuguese and buying a lot of stuff. And I would expect that that'll happen, maybe not as quickly as everybody wants, but again, we're in a global community. So it's important that everywhere that we start seeing evidence of the virus being brought under control. International or airlines, we're down about 11. Some of those will not come back. We've got a couple of airlines, smaller ones, that are going to relocate to Sanford. But we also have a couple of new ones that are coming on. So in the midst of this pandemic, we've had 2 new airlines start up. One, Avelo, which has started out on the West Coast, and another is Breeze, which is a product of David Neeleman. David Neeleman was one of the co-founders of JetBlue. He also owned Morris Air, which you have to be a little bit as old as I am to remember that. That was out in Salt Lake. He also owns Azul Airlines, which is a Brazilian carrier that is right now chasing LATAM for trying to merge with them, so that'll be interesting. He knows a lot about the airline business, so he started some service already. It's going to be smaller markets, but if you think about the folks that come here, it's always the smaller markets that want to come here as well as the large markets. So today, we have been #1 in throughput for that. We have a COVID testing facility. We also have a vaccination facility that is now transitioning from the state over to the Orange County Health Department. So they have Johnson & Johnson vaccines and Pfizer if you want them, but they've been pretty active in vaccinating people. We got the Global Biorisk Advisory Council certification. A lot of you hoteliers know about that because they have also looked at hotels. So that is a process we went through to have them review in a lot of scrutiny our procedures and policies on how we managed keeping the facilities clean and safe. We have protective equipment vending machines. And again, we've got about 85% of our concessions open. So this is, there are a couple of graphs that I have up here that show you what's happened. Again, this is a graph that shows you over time where we've been in terms of traffic in the state. And as you can see from this one, about halfway through, we started to outperform the average of all U.S. airports, and we continue to be above average. As Garrison Keillor would say, we're well above average. But this story tells a lot here. The difference between the red and the blue is pre-COVID 2019 for the most part. The red is where we were and now where we're going. So we're moving forward and closing that gap and trying to get back to where we were in 2019. So again, some numbers just for comparison. So it's easy to make the comparison between 2020 and 2021 because you're in 1,000% increases, but that's not real meaningful. So what we tend to look at is where we have come in terms of 2019. And so in some instances, you can see we've surpassed those numbers on a daily basis. But our effort is to do that on an annual basis. So we've got some work to do, wood to chop, as my grandfather would say, to get there, but we need to continue to do that. And what do we have in the future? New destinations: Columbia, South Carolina, Charleston, Fort Myers, Honolulu. If you don't know it, we have nonstop to Honolulu. It's about 11 hours going out, 9 hours coming back, but you can fly Orlando to Honolulu. And I know Commissioner Uribe, it's a long flight, but that's why you have medicine. And we're looking forward to the UK opening back up again, because we will, for the first time ever, have direct service to Heathrow. And that's important for us from a strategic standpoint because that's a major hub. And our strategy for years has been to connect into those major hubs, be a spoke on the hub, because there are connections that can be made for people to get here. So that was really the Emirates flight to Dubai. There wasn't that much traffic between Orlando and Dubai. But when you went to the beyond markets, you could go one stop to virtually anywhere in the world on the Emirates flight, because at one point they had 240 flights a day originating out of that airport going all places in the world. And they're scheduled to come back. But they're very conservative, and it may be a while, but they're scheduled to come back. So I'm not going to spend too much on this, but these are some of the destinations that we've restarted or that we're starting for the first time. I know you all know about Brightline. We will be the only connection in the country that we know of for intercity rail from one major city to another. The phase one, or the first phase of it, is from Miami to Orlando. It's about 50% complete. They still have a lot of work to do, as Maria will tell you, to expand to Tampa. We've reviewed that. We've reached an agreement on how they will, the alignment they will use on the airport. We've also reached an agreement on compensation because they will have some impact on our ground transportation revenues if they do move forward with an off-airport location. So we've got a process for that. But I think the fact is there's a lot of work to be done before that gets approved, so we'll see how that works out. Operationally, the Miami-Orlando leg will be operational in 2023, which is about a year after we expect to be operational at the South Terminal. So here's the South Terminal up there. These are some of the firsts that we have there. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time, and obviously if anybody wants a copy of the presentation, we can make that available as well. But this is the technology. There's some aspects that we have in high definition, what we call a immersive media that we will have in the terminal. If any of you have ever traveled to Tom Bradley International in LA, you'll see something similar to that, except ours is going to be a lot better. And this is what we call the portal. And there are two major locations, one pre-security and one post-security. This is the Palm Court, so this is one of the post-security. So we've already awarded almost all of the concessions for that. We will have theme retail, which is our code name for Disney, Universal, SeaWorld stores. And this is a video of how the construction's going. So you'll see here that those block-like structures are called piers, and you can have jet bridges, 2 jet bridges off of each, so each one of those piers can accommodate both international and domestic flights. So we're about 75% complete. The hardest 25% is yet to come with the interior finishings. And so we're working hard to make a substantial completion date at the end of February next year. The actual operational date will be dependent on the airlines. JetBlue will be the anchor airline. Next year, our peak is always the spring break and Easter. Easter is late next year, April 17th. So we're going to have to work around that because we really don't want to make a move prior to Easter or the peak of spring break for the purposes of making sure that customers are not affected detrimentally. That's the structure that the immersive technology is going to be on. We have second story, a lot of sunlight. We have a lot of vegetation and features. But we're doing this because we've tried to, over the years, build strong business relations, similar to what we've tried to do with International Drive and all of the hospitality industry. So we will be a place where you will have trains, planes, and automobiles. This is sort of the iconic view of the Prow. So it will be a one straight boulevard. Because we ran into some financial concerns, we had to de-scope or reduce the scope in a part of it. So we originally had planned 19 piers. We're down to 15. We took a section out of the boulevard from what's known as the intermodal transportation facility to the terminal. We actually have a request into FDOT, which has some federal money coming through to see if we can get funding to replace that. So we're working through that process now. And so hopefully we can get that, and in that instance we can complete the boulevard, and it will be one straight shot from your car to the gate through security. All right, thank you. I appreciate it, Maria.
Thank you so much, Phil. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to wish you well in retirement. I hope this is not the last time we see you. And as a 2019 Visionary Leadership Award recipient, you've done such a tremendous job for our community over the last 10 plus years, and you're leaving behind some enormous shoes to fill. So thank you again. Thank you to Brian Small, for his update on Pointe Orlando. Thank you to Phil Caroni and the Rosen Center team for a terrific luncheon. Let's give the staff here a hand. They did a great job. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all for coming today. Please don't forget to sign up for our Tourism Orlando this year. We have our Homeland Security Virtual Seminar June 22nd, and we'll see everyone at next month's luncheon, Thursday, July 8th. I have a tip that it's going to be huge. Have a great day, everyone.
It is exciting to hear all of the latest developments in the International Drive community. Thank you to the iDrive Chamber of Commerce for hosting us and helping us bring all of the news to you from this dynamic community. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Destination Orange County. I'm Crystal Candy, and we will see you again next time.